What is going on, everyone? Leon checking in, and we're at it again with another video. In today's video, we'll be unboxing and reviewing the PowerA Moga XP7-X Bluetooth controller. Now, if this controller looks familiar, that's because it's most similar to the Rig MGX Pro, which we unboxed and reviewed in a previous video, but this has added benefits, such as a built-in removable stand, battery power boost, or a built-in wireless charger, and improved controls. Now, this video is featured on the Modern Gamer playlist, so you can find information related to this topic quickly and easily. And please be sure to leave your questions or comments down below, as that might inspire future content related to this product. Now, for reference, I'm using the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold3 with the XP7-X because it is my daily driver, but I quickly found that the Z Fold series is one of the best smartphones you could buy for gaming, especially when paired with a Bluetooth controller because of its large main display. As always, we only feature products or services I buy, use, or am interested in. Now, you can find this item, related items, and items shown in this video at the Amazon storefront link in the description below. All things said, let's go ahead and get into it. So here we are with the PowerA Moga XP7-X unbox and overview. Now the lid slides off slowly for a common presentation. Now on top we have the product information, and underneath we have the Bluetooth controller with that pleasant plastic smell that you would expect when something is new. Now underneath this plastic shield in here, which houses the controller, you can see that we have these cables here. And these are going to be decent ones, which we'll talk about shortly in the video. So let's start by covering the controller. Now this is a battery powered unit, so it may need to be charged before use. And this is done by using the longer cable that's supplied and plugging it into the back of the controller. Now you can see once we're plugged in, we get this nice strip of LED lights that give us an idea of how charged the controller is. Again, this controller looks very similar to the Rig MGX Pro and even borrows some features you might notice throughout the video. Personally, I think the MGX Pro has a slightly better shape, but the XP7-X has a better weight, feeling slightly heavier, and this is what I like about it. Focusing on the XP7-X, we have all the familiar controls on the front. These include the D-pad, view button, left thumbstick, battery meter, Xbox button, ABXY buttons, menu button, and right thumbstick. Now if we take a closer look at the controller, you can see that we have some green accents here, most noticeably on the thumbsticks. We have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles color or a toxic green goop color. Now I would have preferred that these accents be black, but this is passable. But these thumbsticks work just as good as other thumbsticks. They have smooth roll and they're also clickable. Now you may be wondering what's going on in the middle of this device, and this is a removable device stand, which allows you to take devices that are fairly large and you can put them on the stand, and then you can connect this controller to those devices. So you can use the XP7-X with a device like the Lenovo Chromebook Duet 5 through Bluetooth, or you could use this cable that was supplied. Now one end is going to plug into the controller itself, and then we have an option here for USB-C or micro USB. Now the Lenovo Chromebook Duet 5 will be USB-C, so that's the one we would pick, and we would plug it into that device. Returning to the controller, I like the shape and size of the view and menu button. These are easy to find in dim or dark conditions or without looking at the controller. And on the top of the controller, we have the familiar buttons and triggers. They are RB, RT, LB, and LT. Now these triggers, compared to say a Rig MGX Pro controller or an Xbox controller, have stiffer springs. So these triggers are going to be a little bit harder to press, ever so slightly, just a little more resistance. But this isn't a con here, it's just something to get used to. In between the triggers, we have our Bluetooth pairing button, charge port, and power bank on-off switch. Now unfortunately, the charge port is micro USB. I would have preferred to see USB-C here, since this is becoming the industry standard. And if we flip the controller around, buttons that will be facing the player include the USB/BT mode and program button. And on the underside of the controller, we have two mappable advanced gaming buttons on the left and right respectively, and a reset button. Now, I haven't had to use any of these yet, but if I do find a use for them, I will look to produce some content about all of these buttons in the future. So let's move back to the front here. And again, we removed that removable device stand, and that exposes this area here. This will be the wireless charging area. Now, the built-in battery that supplies power to this wireless charging area is an impressive 2000 milliamp hour unit, which is enough to put this controller ahead of its competitors. So again, that means that this isn't only a controller, it's a power bank. So let's talk setup. We're going to take the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 and insert it into the controller. I'm going to just flip the display up so we can rotate the screen and then put this back down. You can see at the bottom of this controller, we have these teeth. This is a feature that's somewhat borrowed from the Rig MGX Pro. Rig MGX Pro has a lip right here, so that prevents your device from sliding through, same as what these little teeth do here as well. Now we're going to power on the controller by pressing and holding the Xbox button, and we're going to pair, and that's going to be done by pressing and holding the pairing button at the top until we get a rapid flash. So there we go with the rapid flash. We're going to swipe down here and then look for the gear icon and tap on that. And then we're going to look for Bluetooth, tap on that. And then we're going to scroll all the way down until we see Moga XP7-X Plus, tap on that. And then we're going to be asked if we want to pair with it. We're going to tap pair. And we should be paired. So with this controller, you can also navigate through the system menu here. Once the controller is paired to your device, you're ready to game. Now, overall button performance is similar to Rig MGX Pro and an Xbox controller. Again, I did notice the trigger buttons feel a bit firmer than those two controllers, and I'll say this is also the case for the thumbsticks, but they still work really well. And then we have that battery boost feature, which is helpful if your device is running low on battery. Now, first you want to check the battery reserve in the controller itself, and that's done by tapping on the battery button here. And you can see we get that little strip of LEDs that indicates how much of a charge we have on the controller itself. Then to actually activate battery boost, we're going to have this slider right there. And if you see we slide here, we're going to have wireless charge and activate. And this is the feature here that puts this controller ahead of all the other ones. So let's wrap things up. This here is the controller to beat for several reasons. So first, we have good weight, which makes this controller feel good in the hands. Although we have a very slight compromise in shape, it's almost as good as the Rig MGX Pro when it comes to shape. And then we have button performance, which is similar to other controllers. Now again, we have a little bit more resistance in those thumbsticks and triggers compared to the MGX Pro and an Xbox controller, but this isn't a huge deal. It's just something I noticed and something I could get used to with some time. And then we have that battery boost feature, which I'm glad to see here. This is a play out of nowhere. It was unexpected in my opinion, but it's nice to see here. And this puts this ahead of all the other controllers I've tried because, of course, they don't have this. So what you have here is a controller, but it's also a power bank. So if you bring this with you and say you're not going to use it for gaming for the day, at least if your phone's getting low on battery, you can use it as a power bank. So all those points being mentioned, I could say with confidence, this is my new go-to controller. So that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, please leave a like. If you're watching on YouTube and have any questions or comments, as always, drop those down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Now, there are 3 ways you can support the content. The first way is to click on the Amazon storefront link in the description below. There you'll find items that I have bought or would buy, and anything you buy from the storefront does support the content. The next way to show your support is just by sharing this video with someone who might enjoy it or find it useful. And the last way to show your support is just by clicking the subscribe button. Now, liking and subscribing are important because those are ways to vote on whether you like the content. Liking and subscribing are also important for new viewers and listeners. If new viewers and listeners see likes and subscribers, they're going to think that the content is helpful, worth watching, and listening to. And as always, thanks for watching, and may the universe flow in your favor. And until next time, Leon checking out.